In this video, I'm going to have some concluding remarks about the course content for marketing management. Specifically, we'll revisit some of the key concepts for this class, and then we'll also get into something called holistic marketing. So to begin, marketing management is not managing advertising, or it's not managing the sales department. After being exposed to all the things during the course of this term, you should recognize that there's a lot more to marketing management than that. You're thinking about a lot of things pertaining to target markets. You're also thinking about a lot of things in terms of trying to establish superior customer perceived value. There's a lot more to marketing management than just advertising or just sales. One other important comment here before I move on. I've mentioned during the course of the term some scientific research findings that are informative about marketing management, but I have to acknowledge that when making managerial decisions for marketing, it's as much an art as it is a science. There isn't any formulaic set of responses that you must do. You must make decisions that are these specific outcomes. So, for instance, when you are putting together a company and you're thinking about what to do for marketing, you don't necessarily have to have a sales department. You should use what's best given your circumstances and how you think your circumstances are likely to change over time. The things that we've talked about in the course to this point should give you some information about what you should consider. That's the big takeaway from this class. All the things that you should be considering when you have a marketing problem and have to make a decision about that problem. So you should know these two things by heart by now. As well as this, just as a reminder though, because it's really important, at the beginning of videos there was a slide looked like this when we were looking at the target markets part of marketing management. When we were looking at items pertaining to establishing superior customer perceived value, there was always a PowerPoint that looked like what was shaded in green. Early in the video, there should have been a PowerPoint that looked like this. I've got this PowerPoint here that shows everything together, because recall that when you're thinking about target markets to try to satisfy, you've got to be thinking about how you're satisfying them in terms of superior customer perceived value. Do you have the capabilities of doing that, for instance? And also when you're thinking about how you're going to try to establish superior customer perceived value, you got to be thinking about who you're going to be trying to do that for. So there is that interrelationship again that I've highlighted in blue, the double arrow. So when thinking about the most critical concepts from this class, target market is definitely one. Customer perceived value and the marketing mix too. Again, critical concepts. Of all the things that we've talked about during the term, these are among the most important things that I would really like for you to remember. Positioning is another one of the most important concepts from this class that I would really like for you to remember. And what I found is, of the major concepts from this course, this is the one that seems to be the most challenging for students to really remember and take away. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time with this again. So with positioning, you want to be distinct from competitors in terms of the target customer that you have. To do that, you utilize the marketing mix. You make decisions about how you want to be similar and how you want to be different from those of competitors, and hopefully different in superior ways. When you are figuring out what to do, you should have some big picture idea of that. So in terms of how you want to be distinct, if you want to be distinct in terms of price, or if you want to be distinct in terms of product features or service features, however you want to be distinct, and then also how you'd want to be the same versus competitors as well. If you, before establishing the marketing mix specifically, if you make decisions in general what you're trying to accomplish, those more specific decisions are easier to make. Also, once you've decided what positioning you want, you make decisions about the marketing mix, and you present your offering and image. Then how do customers perceive it? That's also important, because what you try to accomplish may not be necessarily successful. So you can use things like perceptual maps to see how customers actually do perceive you versus competitors. And based on measuring positioning, then you can have some idea for what things you should keep the same and what things you should change in terms of the marketing mix. It's a lot easier to make marketing mix decisions when you're thinking about positioning more generally. So there are a lot of things that are important in terms of marketing and decision making. So there's this broad amount of things. There are a lot of things that are interdependent as well, and I want to talk about that here in the next slide, looking at something called the holistic marketing concept. So there are 4 broad themes to the holistic marketing concept. First, looking at relationship marketing. Definition of marketing management says choosing target markets, getting, keeping, and growing customers is really important. Something that you should have seen from the textbook. It's a lot less expensive to try to satisfy current customers than it is to try to persuade other people or companies who are less positive about you than these current customers. It's a lot less expensive to try to keep these current customers happy than it is to try to persuade new ones to buy from you. Also, looking at marketing channels and different channel members that you have interactions with, if you treat them as an important relationship, that also can have payoffs as well. Next, let's look at integrated marketing, which this idea dovetails nicely with the idea of positioning. Thinking about making decisions about the 4 P's in the marketing mix, if you're thinking about all of them together and making decisions about all of them, thinking about their interrelationships in terms of how effective each part can be, thinking about it just like you do with positioning, there's this synergistic effect that can occur when things are aligned in terms of your marketing mix decisions. So that's another important part of the holistic marketing concept. A third piece is internal marketing. So how much is marketing practiced and embraced throughout the organization? Are the right employees hired? Are they trained? And are they motivated to do well in terms of serving customers? That's a third part of the holistic marketing concept. And then lastly, but certainly not least, is performance. So having an appreciation for what you're getting out of your marketing expenditures and efforts. It is no longer defendable to just spend money on marketing and then whatever happens, happens. That's no longer acceptable. You have to try to measure how well you're doing, and then also concern for social responsibility fits in with performance marketing as well. One way of practicing holistic marketing in an organization is to identify and measure customer wants and needs in order to be able to figure out which market or which markets we should target. Which ones can we serve effectively with the products and services that we could offer, that we could do a good job offering, and with the pricing, the promotion, and the distribution, being able to be successful with all those things in terms of presenting an integrated offering, a coherent offering that makes sense and is attractive to customers and is financially viable for you. Thinking about those ideas, we've been already getting into relationship and integrated marketing. Another piece that's important is internal marketing. So thinking about all of the people that could be interacting with customers throughout the organization, or so-called customer touch points, making sure that all of those people are acting as good marketing agents for your company. So it could be a person in accounting that's fielding a customer question. It could be somebody in R&D that is responding to a customer suggestion for a product improvement. Could be a manager that's handling a customer complaint. All of those people are interacting with customers and thus are part of the marketing for your company. The customer and how he or she is treated, and the sorts of things that happen in those interactions that could benefit the customer. All of those things are part of the total company marketing effort. It's not just the ad that the company runs or the sales force that the company uses. You've got to be thinking about all of those people. Those are all agents of marketing for the firm, and that's actually reminds me of a good quote that I've seen. Marketing is too important. Marketing is too important to be left to just people in marketing who have a marketing job title. So lastly, we've talked about relationship, integrated, and internal marketing, but performance also important. So how do you do? How are you doing? Measure what customers think in response to the offerings that you're providing. Figuring out what is liked, what isn't liked, going beyond just sales, figuring out what's liked, what could be better, what could you financially do a better job doing with the construction of your offering. All of those things, when you're thinking about marketing and practicing holistic marketing in an organization, you're thinking about all of these interrelationships, all of the people within the organization that really do have marketing responsibility, even if they don't have marketing in their job title. In the present day, this is what you're thinking about. You're thinking about marketing. It's a pretty broad task and pretty broad idea for your company. Thinking about performance marketing some more. The American Marketing Association, or the AMA that I mentioned earlier this term, which is the preeminent organization of marketing practitioners, academics, and students, has a code of ethics whereby marketers should do no harm, uphold high ethical standards. But that's not it. Beyond that, trying to get enhanced trust in marketers and confidence in the integrity of people who are in marketing. So treating stakeholders fairly, being honest and open. If people who are in marketing strive for these ideals, then marketing should be viewed more and more positively, and marketing does have the capability for doing great good. So the code of ethics is designed with those ideas in mind. I want to make some comments about research into sustainability and the like in order to make a point, but let me first describe the research. Consumer surveys have indicated that people claim to be more likely to buy and more likely to pay more for sustainable products than non-sustainable products. But when it comes time to actually making purchases, far fewer do it. There's a problem with asking people survey questions in terms of the responses that you receive, and it comes into play here in this part of marketing, in that people may respond in a socially desirable manner. What that means is, instead of telling the truthful answer, people who are asked questions may give an answer that makes them look good in front of the researcher, or tries to give what seems to be the correct answer rather than the truthful answer. And so that's an issue with studying consumers and what their opinions are about sustainable products. Looking at firm performance, an impressive research study has looked at a lot of different companies, a lot of different industries, and has found that for firms that are innovative, also sell high quality products, if those firms are viewed as high in social responsibility, they tend to have higher firm values than if they are lower in perceived social responsibility. But for firms that are less innovative, don't have high quality products, the difference between high social responsibility and low social responsibility, there's no difference. So here's my main point. Putting money into making sustainable products, being viewed as socially responsible, financially, it may not be a slam dunk. But and this is early in the game here for what we know about consumers and how they behave in terms of sustainability, and also firms and what they get out of investing into social responsibility initiatives and the like. So this is it. This is the end of the videos that'll cover the course content. I'll have a separate video where I'll have some final comments about the class in general. But thank you for your attention to these videos.